Hello, I'm Kim McGregor, Manager of Community and Media Relations for the nonprofit Money Management International. I'm being joined today by Linda, who is gracious enough to share her story so that it can help others. Linda, thank you so much for being here today. Can you start by telling us a little bit about your experience?
I got laid off in June, and by November I realized that it was going to be really hard to get another job. So I began to panic a little, and I had a lot of debt. I'd lived high because I was making a lot of money and I was getting a lot of credit, and it just never seemed to be a problem.
So Linda, was there something that happened, like a tipping point, that made you realize that you really needed to get help?
Well, I think the reason I called was I realized that I was just barely making my payments with the severance pay. And that was about less than 2 months from running out. And at that point I knew that even when I qualified for unemployment, I wouldn't have enough to pay my bills. So I was looking to lower my payments so that I could continue to pay and stay current on my bills.
So tell me what the experience was like sharing your story with a credit counselor.
It was a real eye-opener because I had to reveal all of my debt, which meant I had to face the fact that I really was heavily in debt.
Now tell me a little bit about where you are today, now that you aren't troubled by the burden of debt.
Having the burden of debt gone was a big relief because I certainly went through months of the creditors calling me and demanding payment and being very difficult to deal with. I ended up having to give up my minivan because I just couldn't make the payment. Of course, I have no credit now, no MasterCards or Visas or store cards or anything. The only thing I kept was my house. I lived in it since '86, and I wasn't willing to give that up. So I kept that current, and I've been able to keep that, but pretty much that's all I've been able to keep. It changed my whole life to have gotten myself into this. So.
I understand that the situation was really difficult, but were there any silver linings at all?
I do see the value in paying cash for things and not running up a debt. Because at the worst point, when I was looking at my credit statements and seeing the amount of interest that I was paying on all this debt I'd incurred, it was phenomenal. And all that money could have been mine if I had paid cash for these things. Because things, I guess that's the big lesson, is that things are not what's important in life. You can live without things. It's more what makes you happy and what you can do with what you have.
And if you had to give one last piece of advice to viewers, what would it be?
Well, I think as soon as you're having any kind of trouble making payments, as soon as you don't have money left at the end of the month, then you've got to admit that you're in trouble.
Linda, thank you so much for sharing your story. I hope that a lot of people found it helpful, and I wish you the best of luck. And if you're struggling financially, please know that there is help available. I'm Kim McGregor from Money Management International.